Hey everyone, and welcome back to Elemental Cartomancy. Um, you'll be able to tell from the title that I'm coming on to talk to you about this deck. This is Dreamy Moon's Tarot by Annie Tarasova. Um, However, first I just wanted to quickly tell you about how I got the deck. So yesterday, my husband and I were at a Gothic kind of fair, Gothic market type event. Um, and yeah, it was just a bunch of stalls in our trades hall in city centre. It was brilliant. It was really fantastic. I got some art and I got the Dreamy Moons tarot. So the stall that I got the deck from was the only stall there that was selling tarot cards, but she was absolutely fantastic. It was called Tarot by Peachy. I'm going to link her website and her Instagram in the um, in the description. Definitely check it out. I was so excited to find it, well, because it was tarot cards, and obviously, naturally, I was excited. But she's she deals in and she's a reader and stuff as well. But she also sells like indie tarot decks, and she's based in Glasgow. So I was just so excited to find someone who's based in Glasgow that sells indie tarot decks. So yeah, at her at her stall was fantastic because every single thing that she sold, she had an opened version of the deck. The opened decks were all hers. So all of the stuff that she sells, she uses, she endorses. And yeah, so there was an open version, so you were able to kind of a look through all of the cards to decide whether you wanted it, rather than just going in blind, which I think is fantastic. And, I wish you got that experience in more places where you buy tarot. Um, she was a really lovely person as well, and the decks were really good value. So definitely check out her her Instagram and her shop. Sorry, I've got messages pinging on the computer and then on the phone. Um, so it was the box is it's obviously got this kind of a gold embossing. You can kind of see when I hold it like that, the way that it's shining in the light. The current lighting situation in this room isn't the best to kind of demonstrate that. But yeah, you can kind of see when I move it about. It's a magnetic closure box, cards sit in there, and then the book sits on top. So nice and sturdy, keeps the cards safe. It does the job, and it'll sit nicely. It's not too big either. It'll sit just nicely on the shelf. The cards themselves, the card stock. So if I do a quick size comparison, just to show you, they're actually, do you know, I was going to say that they're smaller, but they're not really. They're the same height as a standard Smith weight, but they're a bit broader. So yeah, nice, manageable size, in my opinion. Cardstock is a nice matte cardstock, and again with the cards, as you can see, you're getting this gold kind of detailing that's kind of a shines as the light hits it. And same on the backs. These are the backs of the cards, and these are the four fixed constellations that we normally see on cards like the World and the Wheel of Fortune. So, and oh yeah, the gilding as well. It's got this beautiful gold gilding, metallic gold. So I wanted to touch on the book as well because I think the book's fantastic. So we start out with the usual kind of we get some information about the creator, which is great. We get some information on how to use the cards. Even gives us information about the backs of the cards. On the backs, it's not the easiest to see, but I'll hold this up to the camera. You can see there that there's something written in cursive round the image of the sun there. So it gives us that. So she says these cards have been infused with a special prayer written in cursive around the sun, and this is the prayer. We then have how to use. We've got lots of information on card spreads. So, 3 card spreads, and we've got lots of alternatives. The second one down is my kind of a go-to, the situation. I usually look at this as the advice card, but she's got action, solution, and the outcome. You've got a my path spread, a relationship spread, self-love spread, intention setting. We've then got an in-depth relationship spread, so an 8 card spread. You really want to look at things in finer detail, and a decision-making spread as well, which I think I might do this as the sample at the end because it looks really good, so it does. And then we're into the cards. So we're getting a picture, a color representation of the cards. We get some keywords, an affirmation, and then the information about the card. So for the Fool, for example, we are getting welcome to the beginning of your journey. It's time to conquer the world with childlike innocence and joy. This card represents unlimited potential, new beginnings, and taking risks. Step into the unknown with unwavering faith and trust in the universe. You're yet to learn your lessons, but in your faith lies infinite wisdom. The white rose in the Fool's hand symbolizes purity of mind and heart, and the feathers in her hair show that she's a free spirit. The mountains represent challenges ahead, but nothing is impossible to overcome if you continue to trust your path. So some good information on each card there, and you get the same regardless of whether it's major or minor. As it comes into each of the suits, we get some kind of a basic information about the suit as well. So yeah, fantastic book, lots of really good information in there. I think it would be kind of a really good for anyone who is starting out. It's not the only book that you're ever going to need, but it's enough to get you started. Certainly better than, the little white book that I started with. Okay, so a quick flip through of the cards. As we can see right away, the colours are really vibrant, which is one of the things that I absolutely love about this deck. Against that black background, that solid black background, the metallic gold embossing and the beautiful bright colours really just stand out. And it's one of the things that really kind of made this deck stand out to me in the first place. Okay, so here we're seeing this is an 80 card deck, and the self and underneath it the flower of life are the two extra cards that we get. The idea with the self is it being that reflective surface so that we can see ourselves in it, and then from the book the flower of life is meant to be the opposite of the self. It's everything else, removed ego. I love this Eight of Wands. Feel like it's something a bit different from the normal rider pack. The Ten of Wands as well. I love how the 10 candles almost combine to be one big massive candle. Something really appealing about that. I actually really like the 10s right across this deck. I think they're all really nice, particularly stunning in in their own way. The Ten of Cups was that kind of a rainbow, the colours on it were absolutely beautiful. And the same with the Ten of Coins or the Ten of Stars that we saw. It had that tree right dead centre. Beautiful Six of Crystals. I'm wondering if that's the Saturn or something that we're seeing there. So as we can see, just looking at this deck, the images are for the most part very much based on the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, but there are some differences that are, quite nice. And here we have the back of the card as well, and like I said, you can see the 4 constellations in the corner there. Okay folks, so the shuffle, they both riffle and overhand really nicely. I suppose, as always, metallic gold gilding, if you don't want it to chip or wear, then don't riffle shuffle them, because you are going to get kind of a chipping and wearing. Personally, it doesn't bother me. It makes the deck feel like it's, well used, well loved. But if that kind of if that wear and tear would bother you, and would stop you from using the deck, then don't riffle them. But as you can see, if you do want to riffle them, then they riffle really nicely and you get a nice bridge on them and stuff. And same size as your standard US games, so they overhand really nicely. Now, in terms of our sample reading, I said we were going to use this decision-making spread. So it's this one on page 11 of the book, and I'm just going to kind of show you it. So as you can see, we've got kind of two columns almost. Well, it's like a V. You've got one side of the V is choice 1 and the other side is choice 2. So for each choice we've got the pros, the cons, what my mind is telling me about this choice, what my heart is telling me about this choice, and then 9 is the kind of it says here advice from the universe. So you're looking for 9 to kind of reconcile the whole thing, what should I actually do? Let's make up a sample question. Imagine we've got a sample query and make up a sample question. I actually want to do like a relationship type reading. I feel as though relationship readings have been getting a lot of bad rep on TarotTube recently, which, if people don't like doing relationship readings, that's fine, but it, it almost feels like there's a disproportionate amount of people that hate on relationship questions and relationship readings, which I don't know. I mean, relationships and finding the one or ones that we love is kind of one of the biggest things for a lot of people. Or at least it's a major thing on a lot of people's in their lives and on their minds. So I kind of get it. If you're coming to look for that guidance, then I get why you would ask about your relationships, about your love life. So personally, for me, it doesn't bother me as much when someone asks a relationship question. So let's say we've got someone who is in a relationship, but they're not sure whether, they're not sure if it's going anywhere, and they're looking some advice on whether to stay the course, maybe, persevere, or, is it time to perhaps look at going in a different direction? Okay, so that's the premise, that's the sample question, and we're going to see what this spreads what it tells us. So let's say choice 1 is to stay in the relationship, stay the course, continue on. And choice 2 is to, explore different options, look at things differently, maybe take a different path. So I will cut the deck and we'll take from here. So choice 1, stay in the relationship, stay the course. So the pros So the pros, we've got the strength card. Let me hold that up and let you kind of properly see it before I set it down. So strength card for the pros. For the cons, we've got the tower. What my mind is telling me about staying in a relationship. Six of crystals. What my heart is telling me. The high priestess. So for what my heart is telling me, we hit the high priestess. And then, okay, so we're on to option two now. This is card five. This is the pros of, moving on or, looking at things a different way, taking a different path. We've got the Ten of Wands. The cons is the Ace of Cups. What my mind is telling me, the Three of Crystals. What my heart is telling me, the Ten of Crystals. And the advice from the universe is justice. That's helpful. Um, and I say that sarcastically. Okay, so first of all, this is good because it just lets you see the cards kind of laid out in a spread. So I suppose if we kind of just bounce them off each other, the pros of staying in the relationship, it feels like, quite a strong relationship, It feels as though there is a certain amount of strength, You've got this kind of a relationship between the lion and the maiden here. And maybe that does reflect the relationship that this, our makeup querent has with their other half. Maybe they have this kind of a relationship that sometimes is really gentle, as we're seeing in the card. Sometimes it might be quite fierce. Sometimes, it might be that kind of a quite fiery relationship. Okay. Um, the pros of, doing something different. I mean, the Ten of Wands, it's quite difficult to see that as a pro, particularly depicted like this. I mean, we do see someone kind of a moving as opposed to staying still. And I mean, I suppose the whole point is this person's obviously asking this question for a reason because there's part of them that doesn't feel happy or doesn't feel, um, like they're serving their best self or whatever, however you want to put it, by staying where they are. So I suppose just kind of looking at these together, this one they're staying still and not much is changing. This one, as much as it's tough, they've got a hard task to perform. They are moving. They are still being able to kind of flow and move and stuff like that. So there's that's being able to kind of be more influential over change, I guess. The 10 as well, it's about the end of a cycle and the start of a new one. So the Ten of Wands maybe more suggests it's the end of a more difficult cycle, and it's an ending that's perhaps the all of the work and all of that energy is culminating. So the end part might be quite difficult, but there is that renewal, that sense of renewal that you would get there. Let's look at the cons. So the cons of staying the course, cons of staying in the relationship. Um, we've got the Tower card. So it almost feels as though things are coming to a loggerheads, whether the person realizes it or likes it or not. There is some kind of a big clash moment coming. And I suppose kind of trying to be an ostrich, bury your head in the sand and just pretend that that's not happening. The tower kind of suggests that that might be kind of a coming to, it might hit harder than perhaps if they had removed themselves from that situation. So there's maybe quite a tough kind of a time of it to be had by staying in the relationship as well. Now, the on the other side, we have the cons of, you know, taking a different path is the Ace of Cups. Um, the the thing that comes to me about that is, well, you're going to have to do the whole dating thing again. You're starting from the beginning. Um, the Ace of Cups is about new relationships and stuff. that, I mean, as much as that can be a really wonderful and fulfilling time, it can be a difficult time as well. It can be a difficult thing to be going through. Um, and also, I mean, the Ace of Cups can be about, you know, self-love and stuff as well. I tend to read it more like that actually. So maybe one of the cons is you'll be spending a lot more time on your own. And maybe for our imaginary querent, maybe that is very much a con. Now, what is my mind telling me, or what is our querent's mind telling them? Well, if they stay in the relationship, see, we've got the six of crystals, which is the six of swords. You see this journey over water. Um, you could read that a couple of ways. You could read that as well. Your mind is telling you that by staying in a relationship, you have some kind of harmony, some kind of security. You could also read that as well. If I stay in the relationship, I'm going to be. We do see a journey here. We see a movement from choppy waters to calmer waters. So you might actually read that as well. Maybe they're thinking even if they stay in it, at some point there's going to have to be a drastic change anyway. Um, what my mind is telling me on the other side, if we do make the decision to change things up, to take a different route, we'll get the Three of Swords. So maybe that's speaking to the emotional difficulty that it's going to, the toll that it's going to take if the person does, make that change intellectually. When you think about it, it's going to be a big upset. It's going to be a big, maybe a big surprise to the other person. Um, what's my heart telling me? We've got the High Priestess. Um, the High Priestess for me can come off quite cold sometimes, quite removed. She very much serves a purpose and very wise and has lots of information, but because she has all that information and because she almost serves as a barrier to the fool in that first instance when he comes across her, um, I find her quite kind of you know, on her own and a wee bit cold. So maybe this person feels that by staying in the relationship, um, that they're almost going to kind of become isolated in their own mind anyway, and or in their own heart. I suppose this is about the heart. Um, by changing things up, what's their heart telling them? We've got the Ten of Crystals, so we see the kind of the pain of kind of just following on from that Three of Crystals. We see the pain of the ten, which is again the new cycle, the new beginning. But we also see the sunrise. So their heart's telling them that it's going to be difficult at first, but there's going to be new opportunities there. And then for card nine, what's the advice from the universe? Well, it's justice. It's the cause and effect. It's basically you need to kind of think things through. You need to look at things logically. I would probably, because this card has come up as the overall, I would be highlighting these two. What is my mind telling me? Because for me, justice is all about it's more about the mind. It's about thinking things through. Think, right, if I take this action, what is the effect going to be? So for me, justice is kind of a highlighting the importance of this kind of section. So yeah, that is our option spread. That was the Dreamy Moons Tarot. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this and been able to take something from this video, whether it's, oh, I really like that deck, I'm going to go check it out. Or maybe you've been able to see something and say, right, okay, well, I can see that that's actually not for me for XYZ reason. But thank you very much for watching. Please do check out Tarot by Peachy on Instagram and check out her website because, as I say, really nice and, fantastic. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care, and I'll see you all later. Bye bye.